Welcome to a journey of transformation. Every week, we explore new horizons, pushing boundaries and embracing what's next. This isn't just about technology, it's about evolving ourselves. Think of it as your weekly reset, a chance to upgrade your mindset, your skills, and your potential. We're here to help you rethink how you approach challenges, how you innovate, and ultimately, how you succeed. From powerful insights to practical strategies and game-changing knowledge, we tap into everything you need. It's about staying ahead, not just in a digital world, but in life itself, equipping you for every new beginning. Because in this fast-paced era, standing still is simply not an option. Growth is continuous. You either choose to evolve, to adapt, and to learn, or you risk being left behind. Embrace the change. This isn't just an update. It's a profound rebirth, a chance to redefine your future, to step into your power, and to truly thrive. It's about unlocking your next level. Join us on this exciting path. Embrace your new beginning. Your journey starts now.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 everyone. Everyone, welcome, 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 welcome. Man, it is Tech Tuesdays, man. Tech Tuesdays with the Sensei. Sensei, how you feeling, sir?
I'm living it every day.
That's what I'm talking about. He's living it, man. Let's give it up to the Sensei. He is with us today. And look, man, we have a lot to celebrate, right? We got a lot to celebrate on the show. Man, Marley, I see you in the building. Chicago, we see you in the building. Shout out to Yuma, Arizona. We see you. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. You have no idea. Right? We have no idea. But look, before we got a great show for you guys tonight, man. I'm super excited, man. Got a lot of things to put out there to the great audience that we have, to our four communities, the smarts, the motivators, warriors, and final bosses. This is Tech Tuesdays, man, and we are getting ready to get into our show. But look, we got a few announcements that we want to make before we get into that. But as always, the greeting of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That is the greeting of the day, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Look, man, the Sensei's over there, man. I see a grin. I see a smirk. Oh, he got the choppers out. The Sensei has the choppers out, and he has the choppers out with good reason, man. Those are some really nice, handsome choppers, right, man? They're really glistening, you know. And you know what? While I have him over there, glistening with his chompers, we have a reason to celebrate. Tonight marks the 2-year anniversary of Tech Tuesdays. But not only that, man, 2-year anniversary that the Sensei has been here with us right here, man, as we get through all these topics, talking about all things tech, man. And it's been a wonderful journey. And a shout out to him and everything that he has going on, man. He just did a 6,800-mile journey for suicide prevention for veterans, man. You know, you can't look, you guys know how I feel about my veteran community, right? I get a little emotional. But look, shout out to him, man. 6,800 miles on two wheels for a great cause, suicide prevention for veterans, man. He completed that, man, and it is going viral. You should see him out there, man. He has he created a log and talking about his journey. If you see it, join him on that journey, man. It's amazing. It's fantastic, man. He met some great and wonderful people along the way. Look, suicide prevention for veterans, man. If you need help, you know where to go. 1-800-VETERANS. Google that. It'll point you in the right direction, right? I don't have it in front of me. I do apologize for that, though. But yes, this is our 2-year anniversary. So not only that, man, look, he is the first and it can't be only, but he is the first one of one to purchase what? The brand new Go Time 2. What? The train has left the station, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, man, he has the first copy of The Train Has Left the Station. Go Time 2, man, is a series of 2. And I know he's already loving it, man. Look, man, we're going to talk about that on another show at another time. But right now, this is Final Boss Tech Tuesdays with the Sensei. This is before I get into the episode, this is season 4 of the Rebirth, arc 5, the Declaration, episode number 294. 294, people. We are 6 episodes away from the Harvest season 5. Unbelievable. Season 5, the Harvest is on its way. We're 6 episodes out. And look, the format of Tech Tuesdays is going to change, right? More details about that when season 5, episode 300 hit. But Tech Tuesdays is going away, and we have a new format coming in. I hope you guys appreciate the new format, man. We're going into some bigger territory, right? Bigger than what we already are, right? Imagine that part. Imagine that part. But look, we get ready to get into tonight's show, man. A few other admin notes. If you haven't gotten Go Time 1, the link is at the bottom. And while you're getting Go Time 1, pick up Go Time 2. And then from there, if you haven't seen all 294 episodes, go to our website at www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. That's www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. And you can see all of our episodes on our website. And then from there, if you'd like to be on the show, you want to shoot us an email, or if you want to be a part of the town hall, right? Shoot us an email at info at thefinalbosspodcast.com. And look, lastly, Vital Signal is on its way. It's going through the last part of vetting. Vital Signal is almost here, man. And I'm super excited about that. But look, enough of the admin notes. It is time to get into tonight's show. The Sensei has already told you guys how he's feeling because this is an amazing time, right? So let's get right into it. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about something that you guys probably aren't familiar with. We're going to be talking about convergent intelligence, right? And the question is, when biology meets digital speed, and we're talking about the rifle in a world of bows, right? We're talking about one operator.
I'm telling you, man. One.
9 government agencies breached.
And look, we hear about it all the time. Nation states. No, this is not it. This is not a lab with a black budget. This is not a big crew. All right, one crew you can fit in a minivan. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And 2 AI systems, right? 2 AI systems running a problem like a fire team.
Yeah, one of them kicks in the door, and the other one reads the room. And guess what? There's a human behind it all calling the shots.
And look, this is not a movie. This is 2026. It's documented. Transcripts recovered.
The scary part is it's not the hack.
Say more.
The scary part is how normal this is about to become. This is just the beginning.
Man, convergent intelligence, people. When biology meets digital speed, Sensei, let's get to work. Let's get to work, right? But before we get into work, let's go with the brass tacks of the evening, right? Listen, here's tonight's brass tacks. For all of those who aren't familiar with the brass tacks leads us into the conversation of the evening, right? So here's the brass tacks. The gun in the world of bows never won by being louder. It won by reaching further than anybody was ready for. And that is the brass tacks of the evening. That comes from yours truly. And, since that, man, people think technology changes human nature. Man, tell them.
No. Human nature is human nature, okay? It does not change human nature. Not nearly as fast as the technology itself changes.
So, I'm glad you said that. So let's strip all the tech all the way down. We're talking about the phones, the cities, the companies, the governments. What's underneath all of it?
Simple. An animal.
Whoa.
A very capable animal, but still an animal. Look, we protect territory. We compete for resources. We build hierarchies without being told. We form alliances. We copy whatever's winning. Whatever wins, we copy it.
Absolutely.
We chase status. Hell, we defend our kids. We clock outsiders, and we react to threats before we even finish thinking.
Wow. Wow. Sounds like same instincts, but better clothes. We haven't changed.
Yeah, exactly. Look, territory becomes borders. Hierarchy just becomes an org chart. Alliance becomes a merger. Threat response, that becomes an entire security industry. It's the same animal, just wearing nicer clothes.
Man, and if you watch a troop of, let's say, primates long enough, you've been to the zoo.
No, it's not cute. And it's not because they act like us.
It's because we act like them.
Right? And that's the flip, right? We didn't climb out of the animal. We just dressed it up and handed it a phone. Everything we built sits on top of the same nervous system that a caveman was carrying. The interface changed, but the operating system, it's prehistoric, and it has not changed at all.
So when somebody says AI is going to change who we are, you and I know different.
Yeah, I'm going to laugh at that one, right?
Right.
AI is just a tool that the animal picked up. But the animal still wants the same three things: safety, status, and more reach than the guy next to him.
More reach. Let's talk about that. That's the spine of this episode, people. Now walk that out for us.
All right, for most of history, the animal is limited by reach. If you wanted more territory, you had to walk there. More allies, you had to feed them. More force, you had to carry it. The desire could be huge, but the reach stayed relatively small.
I'm glad you said that. And now
we're handling that same animal a way to project intelligence the way we already handed a way to project force. The same once, just brand new tech.
And the dangerous part is he thinks the tool changed him.
And yeah, that's correct. He feels like he's modern because he's holding modern gear. He's got a phone, he's got apps, he's got a feed, he's got AI. But look, the fear response is still the same. The status hunger is still the same. And the tribal reflex, oh my God, tell me that's not strong. That's insane. That's actually gotten worse. Somebody who understands that can push the same old buttons.
Standard issue buttons. That's what it looks like to me.
Same on every unit.
Yeah.
That's why understanding the animal matters more than worshiping the tool. Look, you can't win by pretending you've evolved past your wiring. You win by knowing the wiring is still there.
Now, smarts, listen, right? You got to know your hardware. That's step one.
Right, because if you know the tool only extended the animal, you stop being impressed by the interface and you start watching the operator. And what have we said many times? We study the machine. We don't argue with the decorations.
Correct. And this is the Art 5, the declaration. Now, there's a big difference, right? And we're going to talk about what actually made humans different, because something did, right? Something did. So, smarts, this is specifically for you, right? Listen up. So, if the animal didn't change, what actually made humans different?
One thing: abstraction.
Break that down for us.
Okay, a wolf can defend the territory it can smell. That's it, as far as it goes.
Right.
A human draws an imaginary line across the continent and convinces millions of strangers that that line is real.
Right. Real enough to die for.
So die for it, kill for it, pay taxes to it. The line only exists because enough minds agreed to believe it.
You know, that's a superpower.
Yeah, it's a superpower. Look, a primate can only build status inside its own troop. Humans built corporations, governments, religions, militaries, financial systems. Millions of people coordinating with people they've never met.
Off a shared story.
Exactly. And we've said this a million times. We'll say it a million and one. Money is a shared story. A company is a shared story with a bank account. A country is a shared story with an army.
Mhm.
Everything big humans built runs on abstraction plus agreement.
And then language multiplies it.
Of course, because language lets one mind move information into another. Now, I don't just have my experience. I can now have yours, your father's, and some strangers from 300 years ago
Mhm.
who wrote it down.
Ooh, man. But for most of history, that transfer had a speed limit.
Of course it did.
Hint.
It was a hard limit, right? It was a
Mhm,
hard one.
mhm.
Somebody had to
Right.
speak, a messenger had to travel, a letter had to be written, a book had to be printed, even radio still had broadcast and reception limits. Ideas had a top speed.
And you're saying that speed limit protected us.
Quietly, yes. Look, a dangerous idea, a panic,
Mhm.
a lie, they took time to spread. It took weeks, months, years. And that delay gave people time to react, push back, cool off, and actually compare it against reality.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Now, before we go forward, Molly made a critical statement that I want to read to our community, right? Before we continue, right? People, Molly said, Molly Foth 4666 said people who become too independent on AI, reducing critical thinking skills could accelerate automation, job displacement, and socioeconomic inequality, right? And that's a Portman statement. We're going to talk more about that in a few because that leads into what I'm about to say, right? Friction as a safety valve, right?
Exactly. Look, nobody designed it. It was just physics. A bad idea in
Mm-hmm.
1500 could only travel as fast as a horse. I mean,
Correct.
it had to survive the trip, town by town, face to face.
Mm-hmm. So distance filtered it.
Right. Distance filtered it, time filtered it. Weak ideas died on the road. And for 500
Mm-hmm.
years, we treated friction like the enemy. We wanted faster mail, faster print, faster wire, faster networks. We're removing the friction without asking what the friction has been doing for us.
Until information finally moved faster than the animal can react.
And that right there is the moment the safety valve comes off.
Right. We're talking about digital speed, people, right? Fear travels as far as I'm sorry. Fear travels as fast as truth, and neither waits for you to think.
Not anymore. It's instantaneous.
Exactly. Now, warriors, pay attention. We're going to be talking about digital speed, and this is for you, right? So let's take a look at the speed limit off of information, right? Sensei, tell them what that actually means.
What it means is an idea can move between billions of people almost instantly with almost zero delay. And the pipe is neutral. Fear
Right.
moves at digital speed. Anger does. Hell, compassion does. The corporation does. Now, here's the hard part. The lies move just as fast as the truth does.
True.
The network doesn't care what you pour into it.
But the nervous system on the receiving end didn't upgrade.
Of course, and that's the mismatch, right? We still have caveman hardware.
Right.
We hear things, we see things.
Mhm.
We haven't evolved. We have light speed transmission. Imagine millions of organisms wired into one network, all watching each other's reactions in real time.
Right.
One scared individual influences 10. 10 influence 1,000. 1,000 influence a million. Then millions feeds the reaction right back into the front of the system. It's a vicious loop that doesn't stop.
It absolutely is a vicious loop. It's a feedback loop.
Right. It's a feedback loop running faster than the biology inside has evolved to handle. I mean, that's not theory. That's your timeline. That's your group chat. That's a market. That's a panic.
Correct. It is all of those things. And warriors, look, you know what happens when information moves faster than the command can process it.
Right? We have chaos. People stop reacting to the event and start reacting to everybody else's reaction. The event happens once. The nervous system experiences 1,000 times. A perfect example of that is back in the day when they did War of the World over the radio and the country lost its mind.
Right. That was a great example. That is a great example. And, you know, the body can't tell threat from noise about the threat.
Of course, cortisol doesn't care whether the tiger is in a room or just trending. The animal is built for threats that showed up one at a time in front of you at walking speed. Now imagine they show up by the millions from everywhere at light speed.
And, you know, we tell ourselves being more informed should make us calmer. It's not.
No, it's just the opposite, because
Right.
being flooded makes us more reactive. Look, there's a difference between information and inundation. One feeds judgment, the other drowns it.
So let me ask you, what's the defensive move for us, the humans?
Something that we severely lack nowadays. It's called discipline.
Ooh.
Knowing that speed is a weapon used on you, not just by you. You have to control your reaction rate. Then you can control more of the fight. Breathe. It's so important to breathe. Don't just react.
So basically what you're saying is slow the human down enough to think.
Right, because the environment is not optimized for your calm. System rewards the loudest reaction. The calm, accurate take often gets buried. 90% of the time, the calm, accurate reaction is buried because the extreme one is amplified because everybody's reposting the reaction, the extreme reaction.
That's correct. Oh, man. I can tell you how much that is going on right now on my timeline. And that algorithm got a taste.
We talked about it. Netflix documentary, Watch the Social Dilemma. It explains so much of this mental thinking that's happening. We're talking about tonight. It's already been documented in The Social Dilemma. Go watch that sometime. And look, it's a taste. It's engagement.
Yep.
The taste is engagement, not truth. So the environment naturally selects for whatever spikes your nervous system the hardest. It's not a bug. It's the business model. It wants clicks. It wants reaction.
And warriors, that's a terrain that's hostile by design.
It's not just by design, by default. But knowing that is your armor.
And you look, up to this point, we're still talking about humans talking to humans. Fast, but still human.
And that's just round one. That's just the first acceleration.
And now, here comes the second. Let's get into it.
Well, and this one doesn't just move information faster.
It thinks.
Not just that it thinks. But once the intelligence itself starts moving at machine speed, the whole geometry changes.
Man, Sensei, I'm going to let you take the wheel because this is where the tool stops being just a tool.
This is where the tool becomes a team.
All right, warriors. Listen, that was for you. Look, let's circle back to the smarts. Smarts, listen. We're talking about the second acceleration.
At first, we treat AI just like every other tool. You ask a question, you get an answer. One human, one machine. That's clean, simple, boring, just a clean, fancy Google. That's all it was.
Right.
But that's not where this stops. That was a demo version. That's where the training wheels were on. That got you a taste.
Right. And here's the real version.
Right. The real version is this. One person has access to multiple AI tools and AI systems at once, and each one has a job.
Like a crew.
Oh, absolutely. Like a machine, like a crew, absolutely, like a team. One searches enormous amounts of information, another one analyzes what came back, another one attacks the conclusion, tries to break them, and yet other models the possible outcomes. Then another one can write the code, another can monitor the events as they move, another communicates the results, and one coordinates the others.
And that's not asking a chatbot a question, if you
No.
didn't know.
Oh, God, no. No. This is the command structure.
Now, walk that last part out for us, because that word matters. People, pay attention. We're talking about command.
Right. And here's a shift. And this is the most important sentence in the whole episode. The human doesn't disappear from the system. The human just moved up one level.
Up a level, baby. We talked about that.
Look, instead of personally doing every intellectual task, the human sets the objective. The human delegates the pieces. The human compares what comes back, and the human decides what happens next. The human stopped becoming the worker.
And we became the commander.
Yeah, the commander of intelligence. That's a completely different animal than a guy typing questions into a box. Completely different.
And smarts, this is the promotion nobody sent you a memo about, right? You've been trained your whole life to be the smartest person doing the task. Study harder, know more, grind the skill. But this is different.
It's just crazy, right? It's I don't know. I mean, it's still worth something,
right? And you're right. It is. It is still worth something. But the game underneath it changed. The new skill isn't doing the task. It's directing the systems to do those very tasks.
And that's two different muscles. That's two different things completely.
Right. Totally different. One's about knowledge. The other one's about judgment, delegation, knowing what to ask for, knowing when the answer smells a little wrong, right? Knowing which system to point at which problem.
Right. And that has a term. It's called coordinated intelligence.
Coordinated intelligence. You and I talked about that a few times, right? Some people call it convergent intelligence. Multiple special minds converging on one objective under one human commander.
Look, and I know somebody's thinking right now, I mean, look, Big Mike, that's a theory. That's a whiteboard. That's a TED Talk.
Can't say it. Tell them.
It's not a theory anymore. Look, somebody already ran it at scale against a government, and we've got the receipts.
Look, we've got the transcripts.
We've got actual transcripts, not a rumor, not a projection, a recovered operation from 2026.
This year, people. So before we go one more inch into the convergent intelligence could do,
let's show them what it already did. And notice what the commander does not do. He doesn't fall in love with any one system. He plays them against each other. He lets one attack what the other one built. He treats disagreement between them, between the machines, as information.
Say more.
So when your researcher says one thing and your critic says the opposite, that gap is gold. This is where the real answer is hiding. A solely human never got that. You only had your own head, your own ideas. Now you got a room full of specialists arguing, and you're the judge.
The judge in the room.
And that is a seat that matters.
Now, look, we're going to drop the analogy that makes the whole thing click. The bow and the gun. I know y'all was wondering what that meant, right? Look, let's walk into Mexico.
And
Mexico.
this is where it starts becoming a podcast idea. It's not an idea.
Mm-hmm. And it starts being exhibit A.
Right? Picture two people, the same problem in front of both of them, same brains, roughly, same training, same heart.
Even match.
It's an even match, but one of them's got a bow and arrow, the other one's got a rifle.
Oh, now it's not even.
No. Now, this is what people get wrong. The rifle doesn't make its owner stronger physically. It's the same man. Doesn't make him braver. Might make him less brave, actually, but it certainly doesn't make him any smarter.
So what does it do?
So what it does, it changes the amount of capabilities that man can project into the world. That's it. Same human, more reach, more force delivered to the target, more unit of effort.
Reach. Now there's the word again from earlier. Let's talk about it.
Well, it keeps coming back because it's the whole thing. And we've already lived this once. It's a neat little term that they barely teach about it anymore in school. It's called the Industrial Revolution.
Man, let's run it.
All right. So you've got a man with a shovel, and you got a man running an excavator. Both are human beings. They both got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 1 back. Now, who's going to be more productive by comparing the strength of the 2 men?
Listen, you'll miss the entire point.
Of course you would. You'd miss everything because it was never about the man's muscles. One of them became the controller of a machine that multiplies his output enormously. The shovel guy digs a hole. The excavator guy digs a foundation before lunch.
Listen, people, same species, different leverage.
And that's the key word right there is leverage. And look, and here's the move, final bosses. This is your segment. AI does that to cognitive output.
Man, tell them, say more.
So the excavator multiplies physical output. We understand that. But the AI multiplies mental output, research, analysis, code, writing, modeling. The stuff that used to take you a week or a team or a degree, one commander with the right system can do it in an afternoon.
And then you multiply it again.
Right, you multiply it again because it's not just one AI. Remember, in segment 4, it's a coordinated crew of them. So it's not shovel versus excavator. It's shovel versus the entire fleet of excavators with one operator up in the tower.
So the unit of power changes.
Right. It used to be 1 human versus 1 human, man to man. That was the measure.
And now?
Now it's 1 human directing a network of machine intelligence versus 1 human working alone. And that's not even a fair fight. It's not even in the same sport.
And that's the rifle walking into a world of bows, people.
Exactly. The rifle in the world of bows. And final bosses, hear me. The bow guy is not dumb. He's not weak. He's not lazy. And he might be better than you at everything on paper.
But he's bringing a bow.
Yeah, he's bringing a bow to a range that already moved past him. He doesn't even know the range moved. And that's the part that gets people. It's invisible until it's over.
Right. So, final boss move. What is it?
It is to notice that the range moved before somebody notices for you. And here's what makes the rifle sneaky. It's quiet until it's used. The bow guy can see another bow. He can't see the rifle coming. It doesn't look like more muscle. It just reaches him from a distance he didn't even know was in play.
He loses before he even understands the weapons existed.
He loses to a category he wasn't even measuring. That's Mexico. Those defenders weren't weak. They prepared for human speed attackers.
And met a machine squad they couldn't see coming.
Yeah.
And now, everybody listening is nodding. I see you guys nodding, right? The analogy is clean. Bow, gun, excavator. We got it. We get it, right? But analogy is still just an analogy.
Until someone fires the rifle.
Man, somebody fired it. Mexico 2026 this year. Let's go.
This is a big one.
Yeah, it's like that quote that Mike Tyson always says. Everybody has a plan So they get punched in the face.
Did it get punched in the face?
Right. So Sensei, look, let's set the scene. And we need to do this with one clean pass, right? Because the facts matter more than the drama.
Right. We're talking facts only here. Right. There's no speculation in this. We're not, no hyperbole. We are not talking out of our butt. This is legit and been documented. Late December 2025, rolling into mid-February 2026 as a 2-month window. And in that window, one operation compromised, listen to this, 9 Mexican government agencies.
9.
Federal, state, municipal. We're talking tax records, civil registration data, health files, electoral infrastructure, the kind of data that a country's infrastructure is built on.
How do we even find out? Because usually this stuff stays buried.
And this is the wild part. A security research firm called Gambit was scanning for attack infrastructure. And they found the attacker's setup sitting there, not secured.
Wide open. Wow.
Not just wide open, but inside it were the full transcripts, the actual conversation between the attackers and the AI systems they were running. This is not a leak. That was the whole story.
So this isn't somebody's theory about what happened.
No, this is recovered record of what happened, prompt by prompt. Command Checkpoint folded it to their 2026 AI security report. Multiple outlets confirmed it independently. This is not just a rumor we're spinning up for a Tuesday. This was actually documented.
Wow. Warriors, that's why this one is yours, because I need you to separate two things that always get mashed up together, right? That's in the news. The tool and the operator.
It's a big difference.
Man, huge difference. And the story got sold as an AI hacked the government. That's the headline. And that was lazy.
Well, journalism nowadays is lazy. All they're after is a click. Look, AI didn't wake up and decide to rob Mexico.
A human decided. And a human set the objective. A human pointed the systems. The AI was the reach. The human was the intent. Ladies and gentlemen, the AI was the gun, if you didn't know.
Look, distinction is the whole ball game for defense. You need to know that. Because if you think the enemy is the machine, you built the wrong wall.
And you aim at the wrong target.
Oh, yeah, not just you aim at the wrong target. The machine is a rifle. Rifles don't have motives. The man behind it does.
Now, here's the uncomfortable verdict. And we're going to sit in that in just a moment, right? Because this operation didn't need a nation state.
We always hear about Pakistan is hacking, Iran is hacking, China's hacking, all these countries are hacking. It didn't happen this time.
Right. There was no black budget. There was no intelligence agency. There was no decade of training of cyber armies. And it still reached into the core systems of an entire country.
And this is the part that should really make you sit up and listen. It's not that it happened. So it happens, okay? But it happened on the cheap.
Yikes. Right. It happened cheap, people. And that changes what and who can do it next.
It used to be only a handful of governments could do this kind of stuff. That was it. And those controlled each other, so that was okay. Now, it's just a whole lot of nobodies who can do this.
Warriors, that's the threat model shift, right? The barrier didn't move a little. It fell through the floor, right? And when the barrier to force drops, the number of people holding forces goes up.
Real simple to understand, okay? More rifles, fewer bows. And let me be careful right here because I don't want anybody hearing how to. We're not handing out the playbook tonight. Nobody's learning how to breach anything from this show.
Right. We're just reading the after action review.
Right. We're reading the after action report. The lesson is not the method. That doesn't matter, okay? Because methods are going to change. They're going to be patched. It doesn't matter. The lesson is the shape. One small crew. They had machine reach, government scale damage, and the defenders were a step behind the whole time.
The shape is the warning.
Look, the shape is the entire warning. You don't need the recipe to respect the fire.
Look, respect the fire, people. More rifles, fewer bows, and most people still training for a bow fight. Listen, we open the operation up. We show you the squad and who did what.
Look, this is a convergence intelligence. And the worst part was it was caught on tape.
Exactly. Now, let's open it up a bit, right? Let's broaden our lenses. Because how does one crew run 9 agencies? Show the fire team, Sensei.
This is exactly the crew from segment 4, except it's real. You had 2 AI systems and a human running point.
And who's who?
Okay, so you had one system, which is Claude code, which is the primary technical executor, the one on the keyboard, so to speak.
Right.
Reporting on the recovered operation says it ran roughly 75% of the remote commands hitting these government machines. That was the reconnaissance. That was the building exploitation tooling, mapping the networks, automating chunks of the network for work.
That's
automating the chunks of it. Yep.
Right. Yep. And that part right there, that's the operator kicking in the door.
Right. That's your breacher. And when it hit a wall, that's fine, because that's going to happen. When something didn't work or it needed another look, what did it do? It pulled in the other system, an open AI model, and listen to this. It wasn't even the newest one. It was ChatGPT 4.1.
Wow. And that one did what?
That did the analysis. Thinking about the thinking. They ran harvested server data through a custom tool piped into that model, and it generated thousands of structured intelligence reports across hundreds of internal servers. Which systems matter, where to move next, what the detection risk looks like.
So one can breach.
Right. One breaches, one reads the room, and a human sits on the top, setting the objective, comparing the outputs, and redirecting the systems. You investigate this. You analyze what he found. Now you reconsider using this analysis. Then the human decides.
And that's the loop. That's the loop right there.
Right. That's the exact loop. The human sets direction. The executor executes. The analyst analyzes. The human compares and redirects. Round and round we go. Nobody on that team had to personally know everything, but the team knew everything.
Now, for those who don't know, let's put this in a layman's block, right? Sensei, for anybody who checked out on the tech words, give them a better picture.
Right. So we don't have to talk tech. We can make this real. Here's a picture. You think about a squad on a mission. Okay. One guy breaches. He gets you inside the door. One guy's the intel analyst. He tells you which room's worth entering and which room's going to get you killed. And one guy's the team leader. He doesn't do either job. He decides where the squad goes next.
And the leader is the human.
Right. The leader's the human. The breacher and the analyst, those are just machines. One person walked in with an entire squad made out of software. He didn't have to be a master breacher or a master analyst or a master strategist. All he had to do was be a decent team leader, pointing good specialists.
That's a convergence intelligence and one systems, people.
That's one person with many specialized minds with one objective. That's it. That's the entire doctrine.
Now, smarts, did you catch what just happened to the skill ladder? Because it used to be to have a squad, you needed to recruit a squad. Real people, salaries, trust, and time were variables.
Not anymore. Now the squad, it's a subscription.
The squad's a subscription, people, right? And warriors, that's the new battlefield geometry. One operator with a machine squad has the footprint of a team, moves like a team, hits like a team, but it's one person, one screen, one set of decisions.
Small signature, big reach. And the human on point never had to be the world's best at anything.
Mm.
He wasn't even an elite breacher. He wasn't even an elite analyst. He was just a decent decision maker, but he had elite tools.
Man, average man elite squad sounds dangerous.
Well, the output was elite. That's why, because the ceiling stopped being his personal skill. It just became how well did he point the machines?
Right. And your skill caps you. Your command caps the squad.
And right now, the squad's ceiling hits way higher than yours alone.
Small signature, big reach. That's hard to see coming and harder to stop. Look, we're going to say the quiet part, right? Because just how small this crew actually was is a telltale sign.
It was way smaller than you could ever imagine.
Right. So we keep saying the operator. Sensei, how big was this crew really?
And this is the gut punch, okay? The research assessment says this group was small, like likely fewer than 5 people.
Mm-hmm. Fewer than 5.
And here's the other pieces that make it worse. No clear signs of a nation state behind them. No obvious financial motive driving it. They weren't hackers trying to break in and steal money. They were just getting in to get in.
Man, so not even a government.
No, not even a government. Not even organized crime cashing out. Just a handful of people with subscriptions and a plan.
Now let that land, people. Because final bosses, look, because you've been sold a story your whole life about who gets to operate at that level.
It used to be to hit a country, you need a country.
You need a country. You need agencies. You need budgets. You need buildings full of specialists. A pipeline that takes years to train one operator, let alone an army of them.
That was true for a long time. It was completely true. Look, that was the bow. The cost of that kind of reach was so high that only the biggest players could afford it. And so we knew who they were because there was only so many that could afford to build that kind of infrastructure.
Right. And that cost was a wall, like a paywall. It kept the number of people who could do real damage small.
Look, the expense was the security. Nobody says that out loud, okay? The reason you slept at night wasn't because it was impossible. It was expensive.
And expensive keeps the crowd out.
Of course it does. You know, it keeps the crowd out. So what happens when the price drops through the floor?
The crowd says hello.
Right?
Yeah.
The crowd walks in, and that's an uncomfortable verdict tonight. And I'm not going to dress it up. It's better to protect the barrier that protected everybody, okay? It just got so cheap that 5 people could just step right over it.
Man, 5 people did what it took 500.
Again, the bow and the rifle, I'm telling you, it's crazy. And they didn't do it because they were geniuses. Understand it. This is not a story about supervillains. This is a story about leverage. Average operators with an above average toolkit.
Man, the excavator again.
Yeah. And the man didn't get stronger. The machine just multiplied him. 5 men with the machine squad projected the footprint of an entire nation state operation.
Man, final bosses, listen. Here's why this is your segment specifically. Because you're builders. You're the ones trying to punch above your weight class. And your whole life, somebody told you you're too small. You don't have the resources. You don't have the team.
And that excuse just died.
Right. That excuse just died on the same battlefield because the exact same leverage that let 5 people breach a government is available to 5 people building something that really matters.
And the rifle doesn't care what you pointed at all.
Right. Exactly. The rifle doesn't care. The tool is neutral, which means I'm too small. Stop being a reason and started being a choice.
and it's a small crew, okay, with nation state reach. And that's the headline, the opportunity joined together in the same sentence. The headline and the opportunity are right there.
Right.
Look,
Now,
rifles got really cheap.
Yeah, they did. And before somebody runs and repeats these numbers at work tomorrow, it gets embarrassed.
Well, we got to talk about the numbers themselves, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And think about who opens. The door gets open for who?
Right.
Okay, so you got to think about that. And it's not just skilled hackers. Anybody with intent and a subscription. The talent requirement just dropped through the floor.
The gate moved from skill to will.
That's right. From can you to will you. Look, there's a lot of people out there with bad will, bad intentions than there ever were with a rare skill.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of idiots out there who just are angry and they don't care what they destroy. The skill used to be the filter. That filter is thinning out.
And that's exactly why defense can't stay human. Can't stay human speed.
No. Nope. But hold on to that thought. We're going to get there. But first, we have to talk about discipline.
Yeah, let's go back to discipline. Because they don't all agree, right? And smarts, that was your segment, right? How to hold a scary fact without getting sloppy with it, right?
This discipline over hype.
Right. All right. Let's get into the numbers. Let's get the people quoting.
Okay, so the core count was this. And this is how small this was. This wasn't even as big as you think. This is tiny. 1,088 human prompts. And these prompts generated 5,317 commands executed by the AI across only 34 sessions.
Man, run a ratio.
So roughly 5 machine actions for every human instruction. That's the multiplier. The human isn't typing every command. The human is typing intent. The machine expands the intent into execution.
That's convergent intelligence with a number attached to it.
Exactly, and it goes deeper. The custom tool piped harvests the data through the analysis model. Okay, thousands of structured intelligence reports, hundreds of internal service mapped, hundreds of attack scripts, custom exploits aimed at known vulnerabilities.
Now, here's what I want my smarts to pump the brakes on, right? Pump your brakes right here. Because everybody repeats different totals. And here's why.
Well, because it's like if I take a report and I run a report, I can make reports say anything. I just change what I looked at first. Different reports count different things. And because investigations evolve, one source may call it one operator. Another says it's a small team. One may talk gigabytes. Another talks records. Another talks total reports. They describe the same operation, but it's not the same metric.
So which number do I hold on to?
Well, it's not the number, it's the pattern. You hold the exact titles loosely. That doesn't really matter. Small crew, 2 AI systems, government scale breach, 5-to-1 action multiplier. And 34 sessions only?
Right.
That shape is consistent. Look, the precise data volume can move as the reporting gets refined. But my God, 34 sessions only.
Right. Verify the shape. Look, let's relax on the decimals and keep going.
Because that's the discipline, right? When you grab the biggest number you saw and you repeat it without understanding what it measures, you become part of the feedback loop. And fear moves at digital speed, and suddenly you're helping the fear.
Right. Big difference between informed and inflamed.
Of course, there's a huge. Look, the real analysis shows its work. It tells you what is confirmed, what is estimated, what's still moving. Hype gives you the round number, the big font, no receipts.
So false certainty is the red flag.
Of course, it's the honest move, it's precision without pretending certainty, where certainty doesn't even exist.
Man, smarts, read the receipts, not the font.
Exactly. Read the receipts, not the font. Study the machine. Don't argue with the decorations.
Right. So let's zoom back out, right? Because the deepest part of this isn't really cyber. It's 10,000 years old.
And it is coalitions. Look, you go all the way back to segment 1. We talked about the animal. Here's something the animal figured out long before it had language, let alone AI.
Which is?
You don't win alone. You win in a coalition. One hunter tracks, one hunter drives the prey, one waits in the ambush, one guards the group. Nobody does all 4 jobs. The group does all 4 jobs.
Specialization.
And that's the oldest technology we have. It's older than the wheel. And civilization just scaled it. Scout, engineer, commander, analyst, mechanic, physician, logistician. The whole society is just specialization stacked up as high as it'll go.
So what's the catch?
Well, it held true for the entire human story until about 5 minutes ago. Used to be, to get another capability, you had to get another human.
Oh man, say more.
Okay, so you need an analysis. You define, recruit, train, pay, and trust an analyst. A whole person. You need engineering, a whole nother person or a whole nother team. Every new skill in your operation meant another mouth, another salary, and another set of loyalties to manage.
And adding intelligence meant adding more people.
All right, adding intelligence meant adding more people. You are correct. Every single time for 10,000 years, that was the law. Your capability was capped by how many humans could you gather and hold together.
And that's the hard part.
Of course it is. People are expensive. People leave. People betray. People need managing. Half of history is a story about trying to keep a coalition from falling apart.
And so here's the transition, right? Say it clean for us, Sensei, because this is the center of the entire episode.
For all of human history, expanding your intelligence network meant adding people. And for the first time, a single person can start adding specialized intelligences instead of people.
Instead of people.
Right. Look, you don't need an analyst. You don't recruit one. You point one. You need a coder, a researcher, a strategist, a monitor. You don't build a team. You assemble a squad out of machines. You say, I want you, you, and you. Okay. Click there. Good. Click there. And then now you have a team.
Right. And the great thing about that is that the machines don't quit. They don't gossip. They don't need convincing.
They don't need loyalty. They don't sleep. It's not better people. It's just a different category of coalition.
And find the bosses. This is the door, right? The reason you couldn't scale before was people, right? Finding them, funding them, trusting them. That ceiling has cracked.
Because one person can now hold the capability of the entire team.
Right. One person can now hold the capability of the entire team. Sensei, you could have not said that any better, right? And that is brand new to us, people. That has never been truer in history. Not once, not in the whole run.
Look, the Mexico crew proved that it works in the worst possible way.
In the worst possible way. But guess what? The mechanisms doesn't have a morality. It's the same door that let 5 people harm. It's the same door that lets 5 people build.
It's the same door, just a different intention. Look, and this is why the old advice is breaking. You used to just hire a great team. Just go find the right people. That advice assumed people were the only way to buy capability. That was true your entire life. That's the old model.
Right. Not anymore.
No. Now a broke founder with judgment can field a capability stack that he used to need a payroll for. The field didn't level it all the way, but it tilted towards whoever can command, away from who can afford.
Right. And command beats budget.
And command's starting to beat the budget. Yeah, for the first time ever, and that's brand new.
Same door, different intention. Now, here comes the part nobody wants to hear. The advantage you just got excited about.
Doesn't stay yours.
Doesn't stay yours. Every weapon spreads. Now, boy, time flies when you're having a great time, right? We are already at that hour mark. Give us, good people, give us another 5 minutes, right? So hold fast, stay with us, right? Because what we're going to talk about real quick before we close out is what this actually costs you, right? And Sensei, can you lead us into that?
Well, cost confession time. Okay.
Yes.
I'll go first. I lived this one.
Oh, go.
So the hardest thing about learning to command these systems, it wasn't the tech. It never was. It was letting go of being the guy who does it himself. My whole value for years is being the one who could actually do the work, hands-on, the expert. I was the man, the myth, and the legend forever.
And that's a hard identity to drop.
Of course, because commanding a squad means trusting outputs you didn't produce with your own two hands. It means being responsible for work you didn't personally do. And every instinct I've had, every bit of pride I've built over career screamed, do it yourself. That's who you are.
The skill that made you.
Right? The exact skill that made me was the thing holding me at the old level. That's the cost nobody warns you about. To move up a level, you've got to grieve the level you were good at.
And that's real.
And the time cost is real too. Learning to command isn't free. You spend weeks getting worse before you get better. Your first attempt at directing a system gets slower than just doing it yourself. And so there's the valley. You feel dumb, you feel slow. You want to quit and go back to the bow because at least you were good with the bow.
And most people quit in the valley.
Of course they do. They touch the tool, it's awkward, they decide it's not for them, they walk back to doing the thing they do well. And they feel fine about it for now.
And here's the uncomfortable verdict. Motivators, listen. And we say the hard thing on this show first.
Say it.
Look, if you're still working alone with a bow, proud of how good you are with the bow, you are already behind. Not tomorrow, but now. The Mexico crew proved the range moved this year. And this is not a warning about the future. It's a report from the present.
And access won't save you.
Man, look, that's the second half of the verdict, right? Having a tool isn't the same as commanding it. There's going to be millions of people with access who never became commanders. They'll own the rifle and still fight like it's a bow. Access is not a skill. A subscription is not a strategy.
And that's the gap between owning it and commanding it. And that's the new class line right there.
Man, you have to ask, which side you land on isn't about money or genius. It's about whether you're willing to be bad at something long enough to get good.
Look, sit in the valley, and I'll give you the honest math on the valley. It's a few weeks of feeling stupid. That's the toll. A few weeks against the capability you keep for the rest of your life.
Cheap, when you put it like that.
Well, it's the cheapest trade I ever made, and it felt like the most expensive one at the time. That's the illusion. The discomfort feels huge because it's now. The payoff feels small because it's later.
Right. Present pain, future power.
When your animal brain weighs the pain heavier, you just have to override it.
Override that animal.
Yeah.
And look, you got to sit in the valley on purpose. Motivators, that's the charge. The cost is real. Pay it anyway, because the alternative is being excellent at something the world just stopped needing.
Bring it home.
All right, let's close it out, man. We're going to bring it home. Thank you guys for staying with us, man. We're getting ready to close out, right? So, Sensei, we covered a lot tonight, and I don't want anybody leaving with the lazy takeaway, right? AI is scary. Mexico, bad, right? We don't want that.
Then start where we started. Underneath all the technology is the same animal, same wiring, same wants, safety status, and more reach than the person next to you. That's never changed.
The want never changed.
The reach did. Language gave us reach between minds. Digital networks removed the speed limit, and now coordinate AI lets one human project the cognitive reach of a team. That's called convergent intelligence. One commander, many specialized minds with one objective.
And this isn't a forecast, people.
No, the Mexico case is why we can say that. A small crew, 2 AI systems, only 2 AI systems, 9 government agencies, and they recovered the transcripts. whatever the final accounting on every single number and every rifle already fired in the world of bows.
Right. So what does the smarts do with that?
You have to understand it before the crowd does. You stay precise while everybody else panics. Verify the shape. Relax on the decimals. Be a calm person who actually knows what happened.
Man. So what about the Warriors?
Look, the range moved. Both sides eventually get the rifle. That's the thing. Eventually, everybody gets a rifle. Survival isn't speed alone. It's the machine speed married to human judgment about ground you know better than the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Command a squad or defend with a bow.
All right, let's keep the conversation going. What about final bosses?
So the too small, no team, no resources excuse, that just took a serious hit. One person can now hold the capability that used to require an entire team. Same leverage that can be abused can also be used to build. The same mechanism, is just different intention.
And lastly, my motivators.
Look, the promotion is coming whether you ask for it or not. Machines will take more of the tasks. Your job is to grow into judgment, delegation, direction, and command. Sit in the valley. Be bad enough, long enough to get good. Grieve the bow, but pick up the rifle.
Move up or moved out.
I mean, that's the change.
But look, I want the line underneath it all of it, right? Because this can't turn into machine worship.
No, it's a tool. You don't bow to the rifle. You pick it up and stay human while you carry it. The tool serves the commander, never the other way around.
Right.
The machine serves the man doesn't serve the machine.
Right. And judgment stays where?
With the human. Judgment, conscience, the call. The machine can expand capability, but the responsibility still sits in the commander's chair.
Keep the human in command.
You have to, always.
And look, next week.
Well, we can go one level deeper. If the human commander becomes a differentiator, how do you train that judgment? Not the tool, the taste, the decision-making, the thing nobody can download.
How do you build a commander?
And that is next.
People, listen, bring pens and paper and a notebook.
Because this is going to go into the vault.
Right. Convergent intelligence. When biology meets digital speed, the animal didn't change.
The only thing that changes, the reach.
Same rifle.
Makes a better soldier.
Be the commander. Keep the judgment human. Our core and look, out coordinate everybody. That's the final boss move.
Look, it's not going to stop. You can stay with it, or you can be left behind.
That's it.
So
that's the message.
With that, Sensei out.
Sensei is out. I am out. Look, man, this has been the Final Boss Podcast, Tech Tuesday, Season 4 The Rebirth, Part 5 The Declaration, episode number 294 of Tech Tuesday, right? Now, as always, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but there's even heavier pain that comes with regret. I am here. We are here. Be balanced, be equal, and be smart. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. Sensei, thank you for joining us. Look, this is our 2-year anniversary, man. 2-year anniversary of Tech Tuesdays. 2-year anniversary of Sensei being on Tech Tuesdays, man. It's been a great time. It's been a celebration. Look, go get Go Time 2. The trainers let the station. Let them see it again one more time for us, Sensei. Woo! Man, look at that, man. Beautiful, right? The link is at the bottom. Go get Go Time 1, Go Time 2. The link is at the bottom, man. Y'all have a great night. I'll see you again tomorrow on Merger Wednesdays. Thank you for joining us. Talk to you soon.
Welcome to Tech Tuesday on the Final Boss Podcast, where innovation meets attitude, and the future gets decoded one byte at a time. I'm your host, Turbo the CEO, and your co-host, Mike Foth. And today we're diving deep into the tech trenches to uncover the tools, trends, and truths shaping tomorrow. Whether you're a code slinger, gadget geek, or just tech curious, this is your weekly power-up. So grab your controller, plug in, and let's level up.